Okay, the time is 7:33. I'll call this meeting of the mayor and council to order. First, tonight, in lieu of an invocation, we seem to make a habit of this. We've had several significant people here in the city pass away. I'm going to ask for an extended moment of silence for each of them. We first had the funeral today of Roy Tankery, who is a longtime resident, made a habit of coming to our city council meetings. And then we also had Miss Goebel, Betty Goebel, who is a resident in the city of Snellville since 1972. She was a teacher for 33 years here. Some of you may have had her in school. She passed away this weekend from a battle of cancer. And finally, Councilman Emmanuel's mother recently passed away. So I'd ask that we have, and I'm sorry, didn't mean to forget anyone. We have Richard Welton, who many of you may have seen, the older gentleman waving signs on the streets, usually down 78 in front of the mattress store. He has not passed away, but he is currently in hospice and is not doing well with his battle with cancer. So it's been a rough time here in Snellville. We'd ask that you keep all of these people and their families in your thoughts and prayers, and if we could have a moment of silence for them now. Thank you. Now for tonight's announcements. On April 21st, we'll have a Public Arts Commission meeting here at City Hall at 6:30 p.m. in the community room. The April 22nd Planning Commission meeting has been canceled. There will be a Park Advisory Board meeting on April 22nd at 6:30 p.m. in the Briscoe Park in the Betty McMichael room. We'll also have a Snellville Entrepreneur Summit here on April 22nd in the community room. Networking starts at 6 p.m. The event starts at 6:30 and should last until about 8:40. You can register on the city website, and the cost is $10 to attend. On April 27th, you can watch a rebroadcast of this council meeting on Comcast Channel 25 at 6:30 p.m. April 28th will be our next regularly scheduled council meeting. We'll have a 6:30 p.m. work session in the conference room and a 7:30 p.m. meeting. And May 3rd and 4th, come out and join us for our Snellville Days Parade and Festival. The parade will be Saturday, May 3rd at 10 a.m. The theme is Dreams Do Come True. And the festival will run both Saturday and Sunday at Briscoe Park. On Saturday, the festival will be from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And on Sunday, it will be from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. For more information, you can visit snellvilledays.com at the city's website. We now have the pledge to the flag. I see our Boy Scout troop has left us, but we do have Miss Linsky's class visiting us again from South Gwinnett High School. So if I could have the students from Miss Linsky's class come forward and lead us in the pledge to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I forgot to do this last meeting, but I'll invite any of your class that wants to come up to the bench after the meeting and take pictures. We should get out of here fairly early, so you're welcome to do so. That now brings us to our ceremonial matters. We were very honored to have Officer Jennifer win the Gwinnett Chamber Valor Awards for Public Safety Person of the Year a couple of weeks ago. And so we have Resolution 2014-07, whereas Officer Jennifer Rain Nadeau joined the Snellville Police Department in 2008, whereas in 2013 she was voted as the Snellville Police Officer of the Year by her peers within the department. Whereas during her first full year as a Special Operations Officer in 2013, she made 374 arrests, including 22 felony drug arrests, 83 misdemeanor drug arrests, and apprehended 31 fugitives. Where she has stopped 1,068 vehicles for traffic infractions, issued 1,973 citations, and handled 1,986 total calls for service. Whereas her enforcement efforts only supplemented her dedication to public service and her passion for helping others, as she volunteered for every major civic event held inside the city of Snellville. Whereas each year at the Gwinnett Chamber Public Safety Valor Awards Luncheon, an award is given to a public safety professional who has performed their job with exceptional skill, expertise, innovation, and results. Whereas Officer Nadeau was nominated by Chief Roy Whitehead for the 2014 Public Safety Person of the Year Award. Whereas at the Valor Awards Luncheon held on March 26, 2014, Officer Nadeau was chosen and presented the award for Public Safety Person of the Year. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and City Council of the City of Snellville, Georgia. The members of this body congratulate Officer Jennifer Rain Nadeau for winning this prestigious award and thank her for her exemplary service to the City of Snellville, not only in her professional capacity, but for her charitable and volunteer work as well. Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2014-07? There is a motion by Councilman Howard. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Emmanuel. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. All those opposed, 0 opposed. This resolution stands approved. Congratulations and thank you, Officer. We also had another tragic loss in the city of Snellville a couple of weeks ago, and we lost K9 Euro, one of our working dogs here in the city. And so we have several things. I'll read them first, and then we'll give the presentation. We first have Proclamation 2014-03. Whereas K9 Euro began his service as a working dog with the Snellville Police Department when he was 2 years old as one of the 3 original dogs of the Snellville K9 unit. Whereas K9 Euro's handler and partner was Officer Dennis Peters of the Snellville Police Department. K9 Euro is nationally certified through the North American Police Work Dog Association as a narcotics detection canine and police utility canine in obedience, tracking, building searches, area searches, article searches, criminal apprehension, and aggression control. Whereas together, K9 Euro and Officer Peters were responsible for numerous tracks, apprehensions, and arrests, including a major grow house, a murder investigation, and a home invasion. Whereas in 2011, after 7 years of devoted service, K9 Euro retired from the Snellville Police Department. Whereas K9 Euro passed away on April 2nd, 2014. Whereas Euro was a loyal servant to the citizens of Snellville and will be deeply missed. Now therefore I, Kelly D. Couts, Mayor of the City of Snellville, where everybody is somebody, do hereby proclaim April 2nd, 2014 as K9 Euro Day from this day forward in appreciation to the faithful and dedicated service that K9 Euro demonstrated in his service to the citizens of Snellville. K9 Euro is gone from this earth, but he will always live on in the hearts of his handler and family, the Snellville Police Department, and the citizens of Snellville. So proclaimed this 14th day of April 2014. The council has also prepared a resolution, and that's Resolution 2014-08. It reads, whereas K9 Euro started working with the Snellville Police Department when he was 2 years old as one of the 3 original dogs of the K9 unit, whereas he served the city of Snellville for 7 years before retiring at the end of 2011 because of hip problems, whereas Euro excelled at everything he did from narcotics to tracking to apprehension, whereas Euro and his handler, Officer Dennis Peters, had a number of important apprehensions, including assisting Gwinnett County Police in a home invasion investigation, where Euro found one suspect who was taken into custody without incident, and also located an AK-47 used in the crime. Whereas Euro tracked a homicide suspect from a car lot on 78, and in the process located a mask and hoodie that were described as being worn by the gunman. DNA tests matched the suspect to the mask, and he has been indicted and awaiting trial. Whereas Home for Euro was with Officer Peters and his family, where he played a very important part of their lives and was loved very much. Whereas it's great sadness that Euro passed away on April 1st, 2014, having lived in a very honorable life. We have a problem, huh? We need to fix the date. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Mayor and City Council of the City of Snellville, Georgia, the members of this body heartfully and gratefully thank Euro for his years of service in an effort to keep the city safe, and acknowledge that he demonstrated the best of the attributes and qualities that make Snellville a community where everybody is proud to be somebody. Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2014-08?
Motion to approve Resolution 2014-08.
Is there a second? All those in favor, second by Councilman Kraus. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. That's 6 in favor. All those opposed, 0 opposed. The motion stands approved. If I could have Officer Peters come forward. And so in the history since I've been mayor, we've awarded 2 keys to the city, one to Amy Copeland and one to Sergeant Justin Lansford, who lost his legs in the line of duty. Tonight I had a plaque prepared for K9 Euro with the key to the city as the 3rd key that we've issued. So we thank you for what you've done for our city and what you'll continue to do, and know that our thoughts and prayers are with you and your family in this loss. That then brings us to Proclamation 2014-02. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. Whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. Whereas 2014 is the 142nd anniversary of the holiday, and Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. Whereas trees can reduce erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. Whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. Whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Therefore, I, Kelly D. Couts, Mayor of the City of Snellville, do hereby proclaim the day of April 25th, 2014, as a celebration of Arbor Day in the city of Snellville. I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. I further urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. So proclaim this 14th day of April 2014. I want to back up for a minute and point out, you saw the police department here in support of their fellow officers. We really have a great police department, and appreciate that, Chief, that they were all here tonight. That now brings us to our minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the March 24, 2014 Business and Public Hearing Meeting and the March 29, 2014 Special Called Work Session?
Motion to approve both minutes.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Witz. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. 6 in favor. All those opposed, 0 opposed. The minutes stand approved. We have no invited guests tonight. Now for our committee and department reports. We have Miss Judy Lavelle here from the Art Commission.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. First, we'd like to thank you all for the support you have shown the Arts Commission in everything we have attempted to do here in the city. The Critter Crawl at City Hall has been a big hit. We appreciate your support in that. The book signing last Thursday night, and then next Friday, a week from this Friday on April 25th, the wine tasting again at Nico's. We appreciate all you've done. So now we have a new project that we would like to present to you. We would like to build a walking labyrinth in one of the city parks. Now we have tentatively spoken with Mr. Sanders and with Ms. Platt of Parks and Rec, and we have a tentative approval on that with the understanding that this will take a while because of all the changes that are happening. But we feel that this would not only be beautiful, but would also serve a portion of the community that doesn't play football or baseball or soccer, but likes to go to a park for a quiet walk. So I would like to show you, I have a PowerPoint presentation, if you can see it, that'll tell you a little bit about what a labyrinth is and what we hope to accomplish. Labyrinths are unicursal, that is, one-way, winding pathways in a circle, leading to a center and back out again. Unlike a maze, there are no dead ends. It's simply a meditative walk. It's a place to take a meditative walk. They're used all over in all kinds of situations, which you'll see in just a moment. And they are ancient practices. The oldest one that we know of is in Egypt. It was actually a finger labyrinth and was carved in or pressed into mud. And people used it to calm themselves down, as far as we can tell. The one that you see before you now is a version of what's called the classical labyrinth. That's outside of, that's on Pawleys Island, on one of the parks on Pawleys Island. People use it just to walk. It's made out of sand and turf. Now, the oldest labyrinth that we know of as a walking labyrinth was found on the island of Crete. It's called a Cretan or a classical labyrinth now, and is one of the most popular types of labyrinths that are made for people to walk. It's got 7 circuits, although it can be easily expanded to 11. Also, the Native Americans used labyrinths. This is one of the most popular of the types of labyrinths they used. It's called the man in the maze. It's been used in basketry, it's been used in pottery, and even though it's called the man in the maze, you will see there are no dead ends. It is also a labyrinth. This particular labyrinth is called the Chartres Labyrinth. It's named for the labyrinth found in Notre Dame de Chartres in France, outside Paris. In the Middle Ages, it became very popular to put labyrinths up in churches, or sometimes outside churches. A finger labyrinth might be found so that people could calm their minds before they went into the service. In other situations, as in this one, they're located on the floor of the nave as you enter the church. There were several uses, we believe, for them. In particular, those people who were unable to make pilgrimages to Jerusalem, Rome, or other holy sites could then make a surrogate pilgrimage by walking a labyrinth, quite often on their knees. This labyrinth is found at Serenby Farms outside of Atlanta. It's south of Atlanta. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's taken from a helicopter. It's absolutely huge. It's a version of the Chartres Labyrinth. It's in the woods next to a walking and riding path and not terribly far from the road. This one is one of my favorites. It's at the Presbyterian Student Center in Athens, Georgia. It's built out of pea gravel and old wine and beer bottles that the students bring in. It's not very practical for our purposes. The man tells me it costs next to nothing to put in, and whenever they break a bottle, they just stick another one in there. It's also surrounded by a fence, and you can see that is also a version of the classical labyrinth. This one is found at Trinity Lutheran Church in Lilburn on Killian Hill. It's made from pea gravel, bricks, and then pavers so that someone who walks it might have a simpler time walking that labyrinth and not worry about sinking into the pea gravel. It also is fenced. This one is outside the cemetery at Harmony Grove Methodist Church. My understanding is that a woman's son died, and she used a labyrinth to walk off her grief, which is fairly common. After a while, she started thinking that others might feel the same way, and so she gathered a group of people who chipped in, and they built this one also of gravel and brick and put it outside the cemetery. So before you go in the cemetery, you actually walk right past the labyrinth, and people can use it to walk off their grief. This one is at Gwinnett Tech, of all places, outside Building 100, outside the cafeteria. It's got trees on one side. You can see it's got several trees there. And on the other side, there's a little pond with a waterfall, so it has a beautiful sound. This one is probably the most practical for any we would like to do. It's made of pavers that are actually set into the ground, so it would be easy to mow over it or to rake away pine straw or in any way care for it, and it would be very difficult to have any vandalism to it. And this one is located at Gwinnett Medical Center, right between a road and a parking lot, and it's amazingly quiet in there. I don't know if you are familiar with that area right by the hospital where there's a little park. I think there's a gazebo there. And they put in a labyrinth some years ago made from gravel and brick that is used both for patients. They find that it helps with healing, and also for people who are concerned about their families who are there at the hospital and walk. So you can see they're used in schools, cemeteries, hospitals, churches, parks, and Sewanee doesn't have one. We would love to see one put in. This particular one at the medical center is about 45 feet across, and that's what we'd like to see done, and possibly the pavers sunk in the ground. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you. That now brings us to our Board of Appeals report by Ms. Marcy Ferris.
Good evening. The Board of Appeals scheduled for February 11th was canceled due to the inclement weather. We met on March 11th to hear BOA 1401 through 1405. BOA 1401 was a variance request by Suzanne Grover for a setback reduction to allow for a room addition. The request was approved with conditions. BOA 1402 was an appeal by Equity Auto Loan, DBA Insta-Loan, to the decision by the Planning Department Director that Insta-Loan qualifies as a pawnbroker as defined in the city code. The appeal was denied. BOA 1403 was a request for a variance from the maximum allowable sign area for Cabana Grill Restaurant. This variance was approved with conditions. BOA 1404 was a request by Sophie Britt for Woodbury subdivision to allow an additional sign on property zone residential. The request was approved. BOA 1405 was a variance request for South Gwinnett Park for a reduction in the size and number of parking islands and a reduction in tree replacement requirements. The request was granted with conditions. On April 8th, the board met and approved the order of final decision for the appeal hearing by Equity Auto Loan, DBA Insta-Loan, BOA 1402. This case is being appealed to the state court. BOA 1406 was also heard on April 8th. This was a variance request by Zoe's Kitchen to exceed the maximum allowable sign area on the front and side of the building. The variance was approved with conditions. This was also the last meeting for David Brown, who has resigned from the board after 11 years of service to the city. He has moved to Decatur and will be truly missed. Any questions?
Questions for Ms. Ferris? Thank you.
Thank you.